Here I am.
Keep the line tight. Watch your step.
Copy that.
Movement 9 o'clock. Just a deer.
Hold up. Something here. Piece of fabric, child size.
Noted. Marking the location.
Let's keep moving.
There is a specific kind of silence that only exists in the deep woods. It isn't empty. It's heavy. It watches you. Most of us have felt it, that sudden drop in the stomach when you lose sight of the trail. The primitive brain kicks in. Panic, adrenaline. You scream for help. You run until your lungs burn. That is the human reaction to being lost. It is loud, it is messy, and it is terrified. But in 1946, deep in the Arkansas wilderness, an 8-year-old girl defied everything we know about fear. She didn't scream, she didn't cry. When the world finally found her, she didn't even ask to be saved. She just looked out from the darkness of a cave and spoke 3 words. 3 words that have haunted search and rescue teams for nearly 80 years. Here-e-ah. I've spent years studying missing persons cases. Usually, the tragedy is in the loss. But with Katherine Van Alst, the horror isn't that she was lost. The horror is in how she was found. Let's go back to the beginning. It was the summer of 1946. The war was over. America was breathing again. Families were flooding into the national parks, desperate for normalcy. The Van Alst family was no different. They chose a spot that sounds ominous, only in hindsight. Devil's Den State Park. Nestled near the Ozark National Forest, it is a beautiful, rugged landscape, limestone bluffs, deep crevices, and caves. Hundreds of caves. It's the kind of terrain that swallows sound. Katherine was 8 years old. She was playing near the campsite. I've walked trains like this. You take 3 steps off the path to tie your shoe, and the landscape shifts. Trees look identical. The horizon disappears behind a ridge. Disorientation is instantaneous, but usually a child stays close. They freeze. Katherine didn't freeze. She vanished. The family's panic was immediate. They scoured the perimeter. Nothing. If you've never been in the Ozarks at night, you can't understand the darkness. It is absolute, and it gets cold. Ivanin, summer, the temperature drops rapidly in the valleys. As night fell, the reality set in. She was prey. The Ozarks are home to black bears. Mountain lions were rare, but rumors of them persisted. But the animals weren't the biggest threat. Exposure was... The search began in earnest the next morning. It wasn't just the family anymore. It was a massive operation. Police, volunteers, students from the nearby University of Arkansas. They formed lines, they combed the brush, they called her name until their voices were hoarse. Day 1 passed. No sign. Day 2. Hope is a cruel thing in a search operation. It degrades hour by hour. By day 3, the conversation shifts. You stop looking for a child, you start looking for a body. They knew the statistics. A woman had gone missing in this exact area not long before. She was an adult experience. She was missing for 17 days. They found her eventually. She had died just 50 yards from the road. 50 yards. If a grown woman couldn't survive the Ozark Labyrinth, what chance did Katherine have? Day 4.
Katherine, can you hear us? Are you hurt? Oh, I know.
Ma'am, look at me. What happened here?
Imagine the psychological toll on the parents. Every rustle of leaves is a spark of hope. Every silence is a hammer blow. Day 5. The woods kept their secret. By day 6, The grim acceptance had settled in. They were looking for a recovery, not a rescue. Porter Chadwick was a student at the University of Arkansas. Do you know how far that is for a barefoot child in jagged limestone terrain? It's an eternity. Chadwick was scanning the base of a ridge. He saw a cave opening. It wasn't unusual. The park is riddled with them. But something drew him toward it. He approached the mouth of the cave. He expected darkness. Maybe a sleeping animal? Instead, he saw movement, a figure. Small, pale against the gloom. It was Katherine. This is the moment where the story should end with tears, with a hysterical child collapsing into the arms of a rescuer, with sobbing, with the trauma pouring out. But that is not what happened, and this is why we are still talking about it today. Katherine walked out of the cave. She didn't run. She walked. She stood at the entrance, framing herself against the darkness. She looked at Chadwick. Her face was emotionless. Stoic. She didn't ask for her mother. She didn't ask for food. She simply said, "Here I am," the way you might answer a teacher during roll call, or the way a queen might address a subject. "Here I am." Chadwick was stunned. Helitaire told Asterisk, the Pittsburgh Press Asterisk, about her demeanor. They gave her water. She drank it slowly. They carried her back to civilization. There is a photograph of her from shortly after she was found. I want you to visualize it. She's being carried on a stretcher, though she doesn't look injured. Her hair is wild, matted, exploding around her head like a halo of static. Her skin is dirty, but her eyes, they are wide open. And she is smiling. Not a smile of relief. It's a strange, tight smile. Almost like she knows something we don't. Like she shares a joke with the woods. When questioned, her details were vague. Psychologists have tried to analyze this for decades. Some call it dissociation, a defense mechanism where the brain shuts down the emotional centers to survive. If you don't feel fear, you don't panic. If you don't panic, you're down to burn energy. Maybe her calmness saved her life. But there is a darker interpretation, one that leans into the uncanny valley of the human psyche. We like to think we are separate from nature, that we are civilized. Maybe she asterisk became asterisk, the woods. The feral child hypothesis suggests that children adapt to the wild much faster than adults. They don't have the same social conditioning telling them they should asterisk be scared. They just exist. They blend. For 6 days, Katherine was no longer a little girl from a campsite. She was a creature of Devil's Den. She slept in caves. She moved through the dark. And when Porter Chadwick found her, she wasn't being rescued. She was simply revealing herself. Here I am. Like she had been waiting, Katherine went on to live a private life. She didn't do interviews. She didn't write a book. She let the mystery fade into the archives of old newspapers. But the story lingers. It lingers because it touches on a primal fear. Not the fear of dying, but the fear of changing. The fear that if we step too far off the path, we might not come back as ourselves. We look at the woods and see a threat. Katherine looked at the woods and saw a home. And that is infinitely more terrifying. The next time you are hiking and you see a cave mouth gaping in the side of a hill, stare into it, listen to the silence, and ask yourself, if you were lost in there for 6 days, what would walk out? Would it be you, or would it be something else? Something calm, something that simply says, "Here I am." If this story made the hair on the back of your neck stand up, you're in the right place. We explored the darkness to understand the light. Stay with us, subscribe, and never stray too far from the path.